called Muslims believe that the religion of Islam is true.
Hello, welcome to my YouTube channel, The Performance. Today we'll be checking out a video titled 10 Biggest Reasons Muslims Say Islam is True. Wow. As you all know, I'm not a Muslim, I'm a Christian, but I believe there's a need for us to learn from one another so we can make better decisions on religious matters. So let's start with the video. Go.
Like many other religions, the followers of Islam, called Muslims, believe that the religion of Islam is true and it's also the only true religion. In this episode, I'll be looking at 10 of the biggest reasons why Muslims say Islam is true. Hey guys, what's happening? Welcome back to FTD Facts. My name is Leroy Kenton, and for this one, I want you to watch it all the way to the end so you don't miss any of these reasons. Okay, starting at number 10, the Quran claims to be the word of God. The Quran is a holy book of Muslims, and it claims to be the direct word of God, or Allah, revealed in the Arabic language to a man who was unable to read or write, and he's known as Prophet Muhammad. Also, it says that there's no errors in the Quran. In Surah 12 verses 2 of the Quran, it says, "Indeed, we have sent it down as an Arabic Quran that you might understand." Also, the Quran says this is the book about which there is no doubt, a guidance for those conscious of Allah. And that's taken from Surah 2 verses 2. Next up, number 9, the preservation of the Quran. Although the book was revealed over 1400 years ago, it is believed by Muslims to have been perfectly preserved. And to make a claim that a book would be completely preserved until the end of time is a very big claim. But we find this statement in the Quran. "Indeed, it is we who sent down the Quran, and indeed we will be its guardians." And that's taken from Surah 15 verses 9. Okay, another one has to do with science, and this is the formation of the embryo. The Quran mentions in detail the formation of the human embryo, and this is something that cannot be seen except if you use some sort of microscope. But this is unbelievable because 1400 years ago, how would somebody have known this? So the Quran has a statement that says, "And certainly did we create man from the extract of clay. Then we placed him as a sperm drop in a firm lodging. Then we made the sperm drop into a clinging clot. And we made the clot into a lump of flesh. And we made from the lump bones. And we covered the bones with flesh. Then we developed him into another creation. So blessed is Allah, the best of creators." And this famous passage comes from Surah 23 verses 12 to 14. Another big reason why Muslims believe Islam is true is that millions of people have memorized the Quran. In Surah 54 verses 17 it says, "And we have certainly made the Quran easy for remembrance. So is there any who will remember?" And the Quran, by the way, consists of over 600 pages and over 77,000 words. Yet still, there's millions of people around the world who have memorized the entire Quran, literally from cover to cover. So they can, of course, recite it pretty much without making any mistake. Moving on to number 6, everything is in pairs. This takes us to another scientific belief that is mentioned in the Quran. The Quran specifically mentions that everything is made of pairs. Today, we actually know that all matter is in pairs. Matter and antimatter, electrons and protons, and so on. When we look in the Quran, Surah 36 verses 36, it says, "Glory to him who created in pairs all things that the land produces, and their own kind, and other things of that they have no knowledge of." That takes us to the halfway mark of this episode. Really hope you guys are still watching. Coming up, we have 5 more reasons to go, but I just want to take this time to mention our members. Thank you guys so much for your monthly contributions to us on FTD Facts. It really helps us to produce even more videos like this. So if you guys are really enjoying our content, consider becoming a member where you can help us produce even more and reach even more people with our videos. Any help you offer is greatly appreciated. It does go a long way. And the link where you can become a member is below in the video description section. From there, we move to number 5 in this episode, the big challenge. Say, if mankind and the jinn gathered in order to produce the like of this Quran, they could not produce the like of it, even if they were to each other assistance. And now this challenge is found in Surah 17 verses 88. We have another similar challenge in the Quran, and it goes like this. Or do they say he invented it? Say, then bring 10 surahs or chapters like it that have been invented, and call upon your assistants, whomever you can besides Allah, if you should be truthful. And that's found in Surah 11 verses 13. The reason at number 4 is the reason of observational proofs. The Quran points people to observe things that can actually be seen, or points to things that would need some research to really learn more about it. So for an ancient text to be able to state certain things about our world and the universe at a time where people lacked certain tools that can allow them to explore and observe these things, well, it's mind-blowing for Muslims. Surah 21 verses 32 in the Quran says, and we made the sky a protected ceiling, but they, from its signs, are turning away. This, by the way, is one of many that mention observable proofs. But from there we move on to number 3. Islam is a way of life. This is a big reason why Muslims believe that Islam is true. Beyond just a religion, it's a guidance for all aspects of life, especially when it comes to economic guidance, social guidance, guidance for every aspect of human existence, including things like sleep, cleaning yourself, how to use the bathroom, how to walk, how to talk to people, how to deal with people of the opposite gender, how to give to charity, how to eat, how to drink, and the list goes on. Pretty much every aspect of human life, you can find it in Islam. The reason at number 2 is the proof for God is found in Islam. Now, when we look into the Quran, we find a passage that says this: were they created by nothing, or were they creators of themselves, or did they create the heavens and the earth? Rather, they are not certain. And you can find this in Surah 52 verses 35 to 36. So either humans already existed, or they brought themselves into existence, or they were brought into existence by something or someone else. There really only leaves one option available, so Muslims view this as a huge proof for God, and this is one of the reasons why they believe Islam is true. Now, number 1, prophecies. There's many prophecies mentioned by the Prophet Muhammad, but just going to be looking at a couple. There's going to be widespread usury or interest, and this is what the Prophet Muhammad has been reported to have said according to the hadith. A time will come over the people when they will consume riba, or usury, or interest. They asked him, all of them? He said, whoever does not consume it will still be reached by its dust. Now there's another hadith that we find this statement in. He, the man, asked, when will the hour be? He, the Prophet Muhammad, said, the one who is being asked about it does not know more than the one who is asking. He, the man, asked, then what are its signs? He, the Prophet, said, when the slave woman gives birth to her mistress, and when you see barefoot, naked, destitute shepherds competing in constructing tall buildings. And this, of course, is linked to the Middle East, where they're constructing various tall buildings and competing to see who can build the biggest structures there. So guys, that brings us to the end of this episode. This was a brief look at 10 of the biggest reasons why Muslims say Islam is true. Thanks for joining me here for another episode. Really hope you liked this one. If you did, leave a like, and also if this is your first time here to the channel, subscribe and ring the bell to be notified when new videos are posted. We love to share facts and information about the various different countries, cultures, religions, and people of our world. So if those topics are of interest to you, stick around, join the FTD Facts family, and I look forward to seeing you guys in another episode.
Wow. What an amazing and a very educative video from FTD Facts. Why 10 biggest reason Muslims say Islam is true. Wow. And I took my time to, write all the reasons so I can also learn more about this after this reaction, after this video, because, we really have to learn from each other so we can make better decisions on religious matters. I'm really looking forward to the day where Christian and Muslim will sit with a good understanding. You know, the Muslim claim their religion is superior. The Christian also claim their religion is superior. I know we have, and if you look at it deeply, these two religions, Christianity and Islam, they are very similar. They are just little differences, and I believe the differences is what we have to sit to iron out, is what we have to sit to understand each other and be able to find the truth. Believe me, both the Christians, both the Muslims, no one want to go to hell. And in order for us to be able to, go to heaven, in order for us to be able to follow the right path, I believe there's a need for us to do more research. There's a need for us to sit and educate each other on those things so we know the right path to follow. I'm really glad I'm watching this from FTD Fact. I've really learned a lot. I think it listed 10 reasons, and one of the 10 reasons is Quran claimed to be the word of God. Wow. Quran claimed to be the word of God. Wow. And you can tell this indeed is really very educative. I've also watched, I think I've watched a couple of videos from Ahmed Didat, from Dr. Zaki Naik, from Mufti Mek, talking about Quran as the word of God. I believe the Quran was given to Prophet Muhammad, and right from the time it was revealed to Prophet Muhammad up to this day, the Quran have been one of the major books that that have not been changed from century to century, and I really admire that. This really shows that the Quran has remained the way it was. And he also talks about another reason, the preservation of the Quran. And from what he explained, the Quran have been preserved right from when it was revealed to Prophet Muhammad up to this date. Everything has remained unchanged. Wow. I know I'm a Christian, but sorry to say, I know we Christians, we have the Bible, and I don't want to feel down. I don't want to also feel disappointed, because I know the Bible has different versions. We have King James version. We have a lot of versions of the Bible, and I believe all this were done to help a lot of people gain understanding, and even the Bible has been translated to different languages, so it can help educate the people so they understand what the Bible is actually speaking. But I'm very, very surprised that the Quran have been preserved from right from when it was revealed to Prophet Muhammad. This really shows everything that was revealed is still intact in the Quran without anything being changed. And I think this is really a good one. Another point he mentioned, science, formation of human embryo. Talks about how the human is formed from the sperm to the egg, from the egg to the embryo. All these things all these things have been mentioned in the Quran even before science came into existence. This really shows that God indeed is great. Wow. And another reason, millions of people has memorized the Quran. This is really great. Millions of people have memorized the Quran. He even said something that got my attention, that there are even people that have memorized the Quran from the first page to the last page. Wow. And believe me, this is really great. This really shows that the word has been planted in them. Wow. And another reason I mentioned, everything is in pairs. Everything is in pairs. He also mentioned the big challenge and observation proofs. Observation proofs. All these proofs that show the Quran is true. And he talk about Islam is a way of life. Islam is a way of life. It means basically there's nothing you want to look for that you won't find in the Quran. if you want to look for how to live, how to do this or how to do that, all these things are in the Quran. Just like we Christians also believe that everything you need as a guidance is in the Bible. And this indeed is very educative. You talk about the proof of God, the proofs that show that God indeed is the one that created us. I think I was watching a video by, I can't remember, I think that was the throne of Allah. And one of the speakers said that we are created by someone. And if we are created by someone, that we don't just come into existence, it means there is a creator. And only the creator can tell us the reason why which we are created. Because I believe there will come a time everyone will be asked to give account on how they have really spent their life on earth. Wow. And he talked about prophecies. A lot of prophecies are in the Quran to really show us that these are the things we need to do, these are the things we don't need to do. And I believe all these 10 reasons has really proven that indeed the Quran is the word of Allah, and the 10 biggest reasons Muslims say Islam is true. All these reasons have been able to show that this is the reasons why the Muslim claim Islam is true. Wow. And you know, before I started looking at a lot of Islam video, a lot of Muslim video, I've always believed that Islam, that they are in a different world entirely. I always believe that I don't understand what they are doing, most especially their prayer, because of I don't understand their language. I was very ignorant of a lot of things. But when I started watching Ahmed Didat video, watching Dr. Zakir Naik, watching Mufti Menk, I've come to understand that there are no big differences between the Islam religion and Christianity. The only difference is that Islam, they believe that Allah is one and is indivisible. Why Christian, they believe in the Holy Trinity, that Christian, they believe in the Holy Trinity. I really hope there will come a day whereby we'll start fighting each other, we'll sit and be able to iron out this difference and find out the real truth about this. Because I believe no one want to make hell. Wow. This video indeed is very educative. So I would like to hear your comments. Don't forget, click on the subscribe button, click on the like button. Do have a nice day. Bye.